Today's topic I was given is this: managing personal well being in the digital age. So we have to understand both what is well being and what is this digital age. Out of these few billion people, how many are living in the digital age? Very small percentage. And we waste so much of time on debating on these guys. But nevertheless, we will talk about it. Well being. What sort of well being are we talking? You may be at your best at a physical level. You may be best at intellectual level. You may be fulfilled at emotional level. Not everybody has the fortune of being at the best at all these levels. And even if it be so, there is still the fourth level we call spiritual well being. And to integrate all this and balance physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well being in all, it can become challenging. But through the years of practice of yoga, Raj Yoga meditation, under the guidance of my dear Babuji Maharaj and Chariji, and of course, the invisible help from above, from Radhe Radhe, as we say in Krishna, and the whole pantheon of hierarchy, we are all guided by all these divine personalities. We need to have confidence. One thing for sure, I may falter, but they will not falter. That we have to make sure that we have this strong wiring in our head in this confidence, with this confidence. Having established our foundation, our relationship with the hierarchy, the divinity within, we have to settle at the very core of this essence of my relationship with the hierarchy or divinity. If I remain at the periphery, farther the most, then I will remain unbalanced. As I move within, inward, as I progress within, when I'm closest to the center of my existence, then I'll be at my best. I'll be feeling most stable. Outermost frontier, though we consider is our physical body, then there is invisible emotional body, then there is astral body, there is mental body, and then there is a spiritual body. These are all, as they go inward, they become more and more refined. They become more and more subtle. If we pay a lot of attention to outside, beyond my body, my attention outward, instead of paying my attention inward, there is no limit to all that. When we point our attention, when we gather our attention inward, it's pointed in one direction. But when we go outward, it has many directions. The same energy going inward and same energy going outward. Going outward energy is more powerful and dissipates faster. Few days back, as I was mentioning yesterday, I was talking with one of the finest doctor. He was mentioning to me about complete relaxation at a cellular level. And I was wondering, how are we going to measure the markers, biomarkers, at a cellular level, giving us this complete relaxation at every core of our being? That science has to figure it out. There are ideas, but we'll not discuss this at this platform. But the idea is very simple, that complete relaxation, meaning complete ease. When you are at complete ease with yourself, then where is this ease? It will not exist at any level, then, because you are so central. Diseases can happen only at the peripheral level. That's why the Hindi term or Sanskrit term for good health is swasthya. You may be sick, but you can still be swasthya. It's paradoxical, isn't it? But when we understand this word swasthya, you split it into two, swa and स्थायी. जो स्व में स्थायी हुआ है, swa means the center of my being, one who is settled within, it's swasthya. There may be tornado, hurricane all around you, but such a person, nothing will shake. He cannot be blown away. His mind, his emotions will be very stable. Because such an entity, such a being is inwardly focused. And that is why the sixth step of Ashtanga Yoga praises the importance of gathering all our attention inward. That is pratyahar. You draw all your attention inward instead of going outward. Though my one eye may be seeing something, but my attention is inward. Seeing something and having attention inward, they are two different things. When you are with your beloved, for example, your attention is fully there with your beloved. Though you may be seeing things, listening to music, etc., but attention is only on that entity, your beloved. Once, during one of my visit to Babuji Maharaj, very profound thing happened. He advised, he said, "Yahan aao." So I got up and sat near his feet, and he bends down and he says, "Look, it was a winter month, so his upper palm was dry skin. So he could scratch his upper skin with nail. He drew a line there. Then he said, like, how we play with children. This is chai, this is coffee, pillow. Like that, he said, this is water canal. I say, yes, Babuji. Water is flowing in this canal. I say, yes, Babuji. Then he says, he drew another line. Do you understand? I said, no, Babuji. And he drew a third line. He said, now power is reduced. You understand now? I say, yes, Babuji. It's a powerful advice that when our attention is diverted from one to another, 50% of our energy is going in that direction. Now, when you talk of digital age, it's up to us. I may be seeing the message or maybe surfing. I'm only seeing or witnessing. But if my attention is inward, this inward attention is the antidote for digital toxicity. or digital addiction. How far you want to get involved and identify yourself with external things. It depends on us, depends on our priorities in life. Do you have yourself, your Atman, your life force, a priority in you? Do we respect and shower that much of love to that inner life force that is settled within us? We have to be very respectful, tender, loving to that life force who dwells within us. We call it as divinity. We give different words, Atman, we give Jiva, or we give name like soul. Names really do not matter. What matters is how well we respect this inner entity and settle within that entity with respect, with reverence, with grateful heart. Digital thing is not all that bad as what people talk about. I'll submit a logical argument from Plato. In his times, arrival of books was a new phenomenon. Before that, in Vedic times, everything was transmitted from guru to a shishya, generations after generations, through memory. Even in Greek civilization, all the knowledge that was transmitted was also through memory. But with the inventions of books and printing and writing, Plato was afraid. His fear was if books take over, we will lose our memory because something that you don't use, you lose. So that was his big fear. And same thing has happened to us also. How many can multiply 17 times 82? In my childhood, we could do that. But after the use of these calculators, we lost that ability to multiply, to divide, to have any sort of fractions. Not too long ago, in 70s and 80s, I could remember the NDC numbers of most of the drugs. I could remember the phone numbers of almost all the doctors, all my friends. It was in my head. With the cell phones, I don't even remember my wife's number or my son's numbers. I don't even remember my numbers. I said, you give me your number, I'll call you. So that is my number. That's it. So we have a choice. If you have the interest, you can still play with the new thing. This has been a problem all through civilizations. At any time new thing came, there would be debates after debates after debate before it is accepted. Now, a while back, there was a digital toxicity problem or digital addiction problem. Now we are talking of AI problems. They are not problem. They can become problem if you identify absolutely with that. Leaving everything be dependent on it, it's a problem. Let's make use of this technology as best as we can. Imagine one thing. Few years back, whenever I used to go to villages, I mean, and at that time I was not even a preceptor. And we had to give sittings, so I would take some preceptor with me and go to village to give sittings. Villagers were too busy working in the farms. So only time we could give sitting was in the evening when they return home, take bath, have finished food, and 1 hour later, that means almost 8:30, 9 o'clock, they will come and assemble. So we give a meditation session. Now, what is happening? Many years later, when we go, when there are TV boxes in every house, they come back early from the farms and see their favorite show. And by the time it's over, they don't have time to even meditate. So these new things that we entertain in our lives should not rob us from what is vital. The choice, we have to make that choice. We cannot blame that because of TV, I could not meditate. That is your weakness. It only shows God is not your priority, meaning God realization is not your priority. Blissful life is not your priority. You want to borrow the problem. Some woman is crying on TV and you also shed tears. Many people do that. I also used to do that when I used to watch movies. Sometimes some tragic scenes would come and my eyes will, my God, what has happened? And we carry कुछ उसके साथ लेना देना तो है नहीं अपन का. She is crying and you are also crying. So we unnecessarily carry the sanskars, emotions of others. We already have our own emotions to manage. Now you are borrowing futile things. So we have to really understand the priorities in our life. Then all this toxicity or addiction will not trouble. When since you are addicted to the highest, lower addiction will not matter much. They will drop off automatically. Nothing will remain in its trail or in its way. So we have to choose the right goal in life. When the highest is the goal, lowest will fall off. Prioritize. Meditation is something very vital to keep this bond between us and the highest. This very thin thread that exists between us should be strengthened. And this thread between myself and the center of my being, and the center of the being of my being, which is God, should always be in our sight, in our inner sight. That is true darshan. Outward darshans of forms, it's a training. But one day we have to look within. Hridaya mein pashyasi. Thank you.